March 18th and 26. I hope that as I put this phone on my bed, the mic isn't muffled too low. For all contextual purposes, I need, like, my home environment has always been a source of mental and emotional distress for me. It wasn't until I went to college that I even started to learn that my childhood was absolutely not okay because of psychology and therapy and all those things. Like, it wasn't until I started to become an adult, biologically, time, age. It wasn't until I started to live my independent life that I was discovering how not okay I was. Um, and so when therapy in college was able to start interpreting for me why I exhibited the lifestyle and mentality that I was, which was already like I was cracking under the pressure even at 19. Like, I was starting to become an anxious and depressed person. The life was starting to show itself because I was by myself. I was independent. Anyway, so how do I start? Boom. Just to make sure that I get to it, I'm making this video for my neighborhood. I'm making this video for the people who have lied on me. I'm making this video for the rumors. I'm making this video for my dignity. I'm making this video for my mental health because I woke up a little. I'm still tired. I couldn't sleep last night. I've had really bad insomnia lately. My home life, like I said, has always been a source of distress for me. So I texted two of my friends in detail in another one, so 3 in total, that I feel like I might need to check myself in soon because I'm doing as best as I can. But I feel like the better I try to take care of myself is always like the wind up to a crash because it, I still can't stop the salt pouring. It's still just the slow building pile. And I can't emotionally and mentally take the load regardless of getting a manicure or taking myself out to eat or meditation. And there's only but so much therapeutic effort you could put into a really jacked up life. So anywho, I knew I needed to just do this on YouTube Live because I don't have enough followers yet on my Instagram, and I deleted Facebook. But I need to tell my story because right now I'm needing to go back to sleep. My head hurts, and I did opt after many months of standing on business about my mental health and not letting doctors bully me into medications and just every excruciating experience I've had in the past year, including with my hormones. I got diagnosed with fibroids, and it's just the uphill battle that is being God's strongest soldier, I guess, is what that's supposed to mean. Okay, fine. What don't kill you make you stronger. But apparently, I learned in 2025 that I can't kill me too. Yeah, I learned February and May. Apparently, God is absolutely disapproving of me opting out of Earth. Therefore, my mental health is a non-negotiable for me to survive because I have a purpose to fulfill. I have dreams I want to unleash onto the world, and my vision is beautiful, and I want others to see it. But a large part of some of my difficulty in the past summer in my neighborhood was with rumors. It was with grown men bullying me. And when I say grown, I mean like 20 years older than me. I'm 33 and a half right now. And I learned about rumors from my closest friend as time has been going on. From this past year to now, I keep learning about things that people say about me. And like when the truth around me keeps coming to me, it still is taking a toll because it's like, why? And it's crazy. Like there's no unity, there's no love, and if you're evil, shut up. If you have nothing nice to say, be quiet. That's a really good old school principle that works. It works for you watching this video. It works for the world at large. It works for me needing to conduct myself in a way that is trying to preserve my well-being. So anyway, back to the story. I'm already taking too long to get into it. So I'm just gonna tell it in chronological order. I'm gonna tell it truthfully and quickly because I'm already taking way too long with this video, and I'm only doing it because I can't sleep. I'm only doing it because I'm hanging on to my sanity. And right now, my dignity and my sanity both need me to have honesty. And it's worth it. I don't know what's coming. I don't know the details of the consequences, but my choice is change. My choice is change. My choice is change, and I'm going to carry the consequence. So anyway, there are predators in my neighborhood. I'm telling a story right now of when I was 14 years old and when I was 16 years old. And the story is necessary because I'm not defending my reputation or my body or my innocence to anybody. I have no reason to lie. I don't go out of my way to bother anybody. The majority of people who don't like me or who have a problem with me or who have anything negative to say are baby mamas or some female who are simply upset at the fact that I exist in my natural essence and presence around a person with a penis. So I could care less about the opinions of so many different people because it's not worth anything to me. It's not worth anything in the grand scheme of my life and what my life is worth and what my future is worth. But today, the buck stops here and I'm going to stand on business for truth because I can't sleep. And the option I have is tell the truth or cry. And I know that when I start to cry, I'm not only not going to get the sleep that I need, but it's going to pull my mental health into a place that I don't deserve for it to go in because I feel bound by the bullying of BS. Like it's my hand is shaking. Okay, so in Co-op City, my neighborhood, I just have to call it out, not because the neighborhood is bad. In fact, everybody who lives here agrees that it is like the perfect combination of environments. You have these sections where you know there's a lot of kids that go to this area, and there's sections where you know there's a lot of older folk. You know, like there's a culture, there's a climate, there's an environment where everybody knows your name. Like even the most annoying, irritating, piss offy person that you always see in a grocery store, the community still holds the door and loves because it's like, but you're us. Like, okay, we can very much so not stand a person. You could have a person that you feel like, I don't really, but when it's us, it's us. All right, our community is our community, and people do feel like, you know what, I can walk and let my child go 50 feet ahead because our community acts like that. Hey, where's your coat, baby? It's as close as a village as you can see in 2026. So anywho, that being said, Co-op City not being a bad place whatsoever in its ups and downs, it's a very totality kind of representative of the United States kind of environment. Five sections, like there are 5 regions. Each building has a building association, like the states have their own governments. We have a community board meeting, just like we have a Congress. So we have police, fire. It's This is not a reflection on how amazing of a community is. Plus, Co-op City is actually still the world's largest residential neighborhood in the world. For all that it is worth and how beautiful it is, and we do, you know, put in the effort to manage our own, I'm not okay, and I can't keep letting myself fall, quote unquote, victim to the lies of men. So thank you to the men who have told me the truth, because it's only from the men that have been honest with me in the past year that I'm aware of how many lies the predatory men have told. So when I was 14, I had a boyfriend. Okay, so this video will have some ugly crying, but it's necessary and I have to get it out. And I'm sitting in um my children's bunk bed because we all came to different arrangements, and I'm getting the break I require, and Dad is finally playing his part, so they don't live here with me anymore. And it helps sometimes. Anyway, that's a separate story and a separate pain. And if you hear any weird coughing sounds and stuff like that, it's my mom, who is another very heavy uh story and experience for me to navigate in this school. Anyway, um I'm trying to put it up so I don't have to hold it. But, um a little light, just a little light. Um so I'm gonna preface this by saying I grew up in a household that did have fighting and well, I actually can't remember. A lot of my memories are suppressed. Am I covered? I don't feel like I'm covered. Okay, there we go. A lot of my memories are suppressed. It's really only because I see pictures that I can be aware of good times I've had, but my mind blocked a lot of my home life before I was a teenager. So it seems like the older I get, I'm just trying to heal and be okay through the things that I am knowledgeable about. That being said, already by the age of 14, I had grown up in a household that wasn't emotionally healthy to be in. 14, I get my first boyfriend. And that's all cool and cute, it's innocent, whatever. But as soon as we become boyfriend and girlfriend, I'm a virgin, I'm excited, somebody likes me, okay? And his parents send him to South Carolina with his grandparents. That's their summer routine. They didn't do that to like separate us or nothing, but it hurt. Like, okay, he asked me to be his girlfriend on graduation day, 8th grade, and then we didn't even have a whole week until he was out of here. That hurt. That was sad, and I missed my boyfriend. And already in that early summer time of year, I at that time in my life, and anybody in my neighborhood can attest to the fact that I've always been like a Jasmine plus one friend. Like whoever my bestie is, you'll see me around. You'll to this day you'll always see a Jasmine and association. And the only thing is, in this last couple 2-3 years, is it causes rumors because everybody's so damn immature. And literally, I'm not lying when I say men who are 20 years older than me create rumors of who I'm having sex with, or that's her boyfriend, and this, that, and this. First off, why is it your problem or business? Slash, I'm not allowed to have a friend. All right, whatever. But I'm over. This is 33 and a half. I'm telling the story. Boom, 14 years old. So me and my little bestie, I don't remember when. Officially, I don't remember when I met this older man. But my boyfriend had a brother. Um, and before he went to the South for summer vacation, me and my best friend, we did at least know the brother. Like it wasn't like my boyfriend went and then I just met this stranger and then no. So already I was aware of who this person was. Boom, trust, familiarity. Hey, and I can tell you because I've seen it as I'm an adult and I'm passing by the middle school. One time, a couple of 2-3 years ago, I'm passing by the middle school in my neighborhood, and in front of me is a man walking with his baby, and these three little girls, two of them commenting, "Oh, that's so cute. He looks like such a good father. Look at him. Oh, I want a man like." They're middle schoolers, and I don't know. We still psychology still can't really put into appropriate words why it does make sense for that young girl older man attraction to develop. But the simple explanation can be, well, girls' bodies mature earlier, our menstruation begins, so our womanly development for procreation, which is biological as a human species, to want to gravitate towards security, towards safety, toward something that makes you feel a sense of survival attachment. Okay, I do want a little bit more light on me. My bad, y'all. now. Like the sun's moving. So boom, that's like I just need to get that out there because like it's just not it's not nobody's fault. It's not nobody's fault that that silly innocent little girl has this inexplicable vulnerability and susceptibility to the older guy, the little we I couldn't explain it then. I can't explain it now. That's why the word is called vulnerable. So here we are. Boyfriend goes to the south, and for the life of me, I can't remember how the introduction occurred. Like, did he just see me and my friend and was like, "Hey, y'all want to come hang out?" I don't think it was like so creepy. It wasn't. It wasn't creepy. We're two young girls who just ain't got nothing to do with it in the summertime. It was my first summer not having summer camp. That I could say my mom got right. My parents always had me in like adult supervision my whole life, whether it was babysitter or Gloria Wise. Woo woo woo. Us in our neighborhood, we know. Woo woo woo. Gloria Wise, we love it. Yeah, that son is really man. um. So to be a teenager who can't really be knowledgeable and mindful of who to accept friendly attention from, I think is where we can start the context. Being a teenage girl, being 14, and I'm just walking around neighborhoods, my first free summer, I'm like, you know, cool. So when my boyfriend, who I miss so badly, I want his smell. And that was at the time where like your phone had minutes, like you can't talk before 9 and stuff like that. Before, like having my first boyfriend in 2006, and it took me years to just understand and behold the fact that I am an obsessive girl. But a lot of the things that I've come to learn about myself since I started therapy in college, I've grown to understand how traumatized my childhood was. I've grown to understand how rooted in neglect and abandonment my vulnerabilities were. So my dad was in my life until he died, and I have daddy issues. My mom is still alive, and I have mother issues. My story is extremely very complicated and destructive and redemptive because the more you know, the older you get, you know better and you do better. So I'm telling my story because I need my mental health intact. I'm telling my story because I need to not be depressed over stuff that shouldn't have any power over me in the first place. But the truth will make you free. So boom. The name of my first boyfriend's older brother is Alvin. Alvin had a best friend. Let me tell the story in order. So me and my 14-year-old bestie, we get introduced to hang out by my boyfriend's older brother because, well, I don't know why, but for us, it was a cool place to hang out inside. This person, I don't know, I trusted him. I didn't have a reason not to. I didn't feel stranger danger from my boyfriend's older brother. And so um I remember, I never forgot how I felt so longing to be connected to my boyfriend who I just got into a relationship with, but he got sent to the south for summer vacation. So I want any version of connectivity to him. That's the way to verbalize the way I felt at 14, that vulnerability or desperation. And I say now, I understand now, and I teach now that desperation is dangerous. Your decision making is dangerous when you're desperate. So boom, you don't know that at 14. All right, this story is about my teenage years because your brain is absolutely not developed. Your social understanding is not strong. Da 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 da. So, but this is summer, and when we get introduced to, hey, yeah, come out, you could chill. Da 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 da. Okay, cool. So we go to the crib. This is how it all starts. So boom, me and my bestie, we hang. At first, I go straight to my boyfriend's room. I'm smelling the bed. I'm sitting on it. I'm like, I miss him. Whatever, boom. But me and my friend, we don't hang out in there. His older brother, he puts on some music. He tries to make some soda. Cool day. That's how it starts. None to tell there. But basically, we're having fun. And at this age, we're feeling cool about the fact that he's like, hey, we're like, we're just enjoying the energy. Not even so much the attention, but we're comfortable. We're having fun. And boom. So probably, I'm not sure, in the span of July and when my boyfriend came back in August, I'm not about to tell you like, oh, on this day and this happened on this week. But the point is that I'm telling it in order. So that was the first encounter. Second encounter, um, so me and my friend walking around the neighborhood, I see older brother, familiar, older brother and his friend. They coming from the liquor store or whatever. Like I'm not paying attention to what these things mean. Context and situational awareness have absolutely no formation at this age. Brother that I now feel comfortable with. It's like, yeah, y'all can come hang. We about to just go sit in the crib, relax. Me and my dumbass friend, because, oh, I ain't mean to say like that, like she dumb and I'm not, but actually, she was a part of our friend group when we all nicknamed us SpongeBob and Patrick. She won't have no freaking problem with me saying this. She's aware of the fact that her social discernment is a lot slower than most of us. She's the friend that you say, girl, just come on. I'm the friend that says, all right, hold up, we need a plan. And it's okay. I'm not coming at her. So boom. So we go to hang out. We in this house, and older brother's name is Alvin, and his friend is Maury. Maury's face never left my mind. It was a formative memory. It was a first. So we go into the house, we relax for a little while. I don't know how long, but definitely it wasn't like no 20 minutes, and it wasn't no all day, all night. They give us alcohol. My first time, me and my best friend's first time having alcohol was with this young adult man who now I feel is a friend, and his friend, Maury. Nothing sexual happens. Clothes stay on, but the attention is fueling something. So we drink, we're giggling, they put on music, we're laughing. Me and my friend, we go over like into another hallway, like if this the living room in the hallway, we go over and me and my friend, we dancing on each other. We just we like this was okay. The song that never ever left my mind is called Jump Off, with your MySpace, jump off, kitty girl. And so it's MySpace time, and me and my friend, we just feeling fun and cute and little, like, hey, look at us. Wasn't too strong. It was mostly juice, I'm sure. I don't know, but like it was our first. We don't care or know nothing about no light or dark, strong, salt, nothing. So we have our little time. This grown man and his friend, they don't touch us. They don't grab our butts. They dance on us though. Okay, so it was that little baby stepping of sorts. They do a little, dancing and groping, but no going inside of clothes, no asking for nudity, no, hey, what are we going to do? And so I just want to be clear. I'm not accusing this friend, Maury, of stuff, but I also know that that was my and my best friend's first time having alcohol. And my boyfriend's brother did know that we were our age. It's nothing to not know. We just graduated 8th grade. It's not a secret. And at this point in my life, I didn't start high school yet, so I wasn't like walking around my school uniform and everything like that. But it was no confusion. We were not one of those girls that looked too old for our age. We were not girls that, I'm 18. That wasn't. Therefore, going, having that little fun, these grown men give me my 14-year-old bestie alcohol. It wasn't any kind of sexual assault, molestation, rape, none of that. But now my comfort with this man is growing because I feel so safe. I feel safe to have a little time, get a little attention, and me and my bestie have no problems with having nothing to do during summer but walk around and run into stuff with, you know, the neighbor, because like your children, we're children. So I never forgot the face of the man who provided alcohol to me for the first time in my life. And I didn't know how old they were. I wasn't asking for IDs and birth certificates. I just knew that my boyfriend's older brother was a fun, attractive, friendly face who made me and my bestie feel safe and seen and sexy, and boom. So with whatever, dancing on happened at that apartment. And I remember because from where our store is, I remember when we walked toward what we in our community we call Section 1. And I walked toward Section 1 and toward the left. I don't remember which building, the apartment and all that stuff, but I remember we left where the stores were, walked toward Section 1 and to the left. That's boom. I never forgot that face. Fast forward. Well, no fast forwards. We're going to tell it in order. We're going to tell the truth in order. Next encounter, it's a time. This is still summer. My boyfriend's still gone. Still miss him. That's the state of my mental vulnerability at that time. Everything was just about going out every single day with my best friend. We ain't had no plans. We just hung out and walked around all the time. And I miss my boyfriend. Those are the two things going on. And so, third encounter with his older brother, he has me alone at the apartment. My friend comes over, so it's nothing too crazy. It's nothing too what's that? But I remember when walking home, he walks us home, and then in the back of my building at the lobby area, it was like when, like, that vibe of when you're saying goodbye and it's like the hug bye, except when that moment came for us, it was a little more lingering, a little more comfortable. And I didn't feel not like I wanted it, but I also didn't feel like I didn't know what to do with it, I guess is the simpler way to say it. But as it happened, as it flowed, I'm against the wall. He's tall. And I'm just kind of like going with the flow of it. He's not doing anything too aggressive. He's not doing anything that made me feel violated. He's not doing anything that made me feel scared. He's just hugging me in a very if you could like describe it, like it wasn't pressure. It like I don't know how to like it was more comfortable than just a quick little grip slip. You know what I'm saying? And when he grabbed my butt, it didn't feel bad. It didn't feel uncomfortable. It was shocking, but I didn't hate it. And so, do the little laugh off, and then walk away. So, getting closer and closer to, like, summer's winding up. Next time, the older brother encounters me or us. At this point, I don't remember if there were like bestie encounters or just me encounters. But I'm trying to remember, like, if he even asked anything or said words. But the next time included him kissing on my neck. and putting his hands in my pants. And at the time, I didn't have a problem with it because it was new. I'd never been fingered before. I didn't even have my first kiss yet. Well, I had one kiss with my boyfriend before he went to South Carolina, but I'm talking about like making out, like, you know, the advanced world of like French kissing and things like that. I didn't, like I said, I didn't know what to do with it. So my boyfriend's older brother kissing my neck and putting his fingers in my pants, it just was overwhelming. It was new. It was flood. What's the word? Flustering. And I didn't resist. I didn't think I needed to. And I'm not emotional right now, but my chest is very tight. I'm very, very much so struggling to breathe right now. But I need to whew, my mental health and my survival. I need to not have things that stop my sleep and make me cry when I don't have to. I need to lighten the load. Like that's something I've been saying for 2 years with my life circumstances, things that I can or can't control. I need to lighten the load. I don't have to carry everything. I don't have to keep it. I'm lightening the load. So that was it. That was my last encounter with my boyfriend's older brother. Um, and it wasn't in the apartment because I remember how, like right now, the only thing I can remember is how not trapped I felt. So between, if it was an apartment or if it was in my, like, him dropping me off in my building settings, it had to have been the latter because I do remember how casual it was. It wasn't like a setting. It wasn't like I didn't feel set up or trapped or like I was in a situation that they warn you about. they didn't they don't teach you that. And they didn't. They do now. they did they teach you stranger danger in the 90s and 2000s. They teach you not to go into white vans with people offering you a puppy or candy. They don't teach you to avoid the familiar face. They don't teach you the laws. They don't teach you about your emotions. They don't teach you about discernment or discipline. Or at that time, my only source of direction was my friends, the opinions of others. And I really didn't start getting good counsel until I started high school because I had a religion teacher, and I'm friends with. Anyway, I don't. And the judgment of friends. The judgment of friends plays a really big role in those years. My boyfriend comes back. High school starts, and we're starting to say I love you. Okay, so my first boyfriend, and we've had our first kids, and after we start saying I love you, it's up. It was the very beginning of school, September, and we were asking for sex. Like I didn't realize how jacked up this was until I was in my mid 20s. But my boyfriend starts asking about sex. I didn't know that he wasn't a virgin, but it was only like one other girl at the time. And I'm asking my friends. My friends at the time, it was the three of us by then. I asked my friends. One of them is not a virgin, the other is a virgin. And I just gained an adult whose opinion I felt I could ask for. So, best friend, new friend, religion teacher. As my boyfriend's asking me to have sex, their opinions are, and parents are no. Parents are not sources of direction. They're not putting me on paths. I was a good kid like my whole life. Like I didn't draw attention from people who felt like they needed to intervene. So there were no discussions about periods. There were no discussions about sexual health. There were no discussions about how to make those types of decisions. Best friend said, I don't know, do what you want to do. Patrick, friend who's not a virgin, was like, yeah, go for it. Religion teacher's like, you should wait. Like, whatever, the typical standard opinion that you would expect from a religion teacher. But he's new. I just met him. I've had 2 years with Patrick, and she was already given a nickname in the neighborhood. So I make this decision to give my virginity to my boyfriend because we love each other. And when he said, well, if you love me, you'll do it, I believed that. And I needed him to believe me when I said I loved him. And so I've always had this mentality of prove it, but it's not until my late 20s, 30, that therapy, and now we're in the age of information, we're talking, we're learning, we're discussing so much. It wasn't until my near 30s that I even learned that was manipulation. I've been trying to prove my worth the whole time, but here's the thing, here's the kicker. How was I ever supposed to know that my neglectful home life foundation that I'm only now in my 30s learning about because I reconnected with my first babysitter? I'm reconnecting with my first babysitter who can tell me about what my life was like as an infant, as a toddler, and I can now have facts verifying how my fucked up foundation contributed to so much. Anywho, so boom, my boyfriend needs me to prove my love to him. I give my virginity, and it was actually a two-parter because it hurt the first time and I stopped. And at this point, 2 friends that I did have from middle school, we all go to the same high school. So I'm talking to these 2 girls. They already got boyfriends and having sex. One said it and the other co-signed. The advice I got from them at 14, I got was, bite your lip and take it like a bitch. I do that. I believe it. I internalize it. 3 days later, me and boyfriend try again. I take advice. Flower. Budding. This point, I'm feeling really guilty about cheating on my boyfriend because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm growing in intimacy and physical connection. Like, I didn't know that word. I didn't know what I did not know the word intimacy existed at 14. But anyway, so now getting closer and more invested in him because guess what? Within the few days after my cherry is popped, he breaks up with me. That was my first encounter of what desperation looks like because I knew in my whole entire soul that this little boy bet not have just got me like that. I'm crying. No. We're together. We're boyfriend and girlfriend. And look, I'm not even going to get into how the rest of the story continued. We were together for a year, blah, blah, blah. But, oh my God, no, it actually freaking matters because the chick he cheated on me with, that best friend, because we're all kids, we're all growing up in the same neighborhood, but that other female friend, they proceeded to be friends with benefits for years. He and I reconnected over and over again for years, etc. Like this is an 18-year drama because fast forward, there are times where she paid me to be the babysitter for her son. This person who was a very known a trash talker. She's not a nice girl, whatever. She's very two-faced, and so later in life, she put money in my pocket because God served. So it didn't matter how little it was. I was able to be a humble servant because she needed somebody. She needed help. And so God was able to provide for me during that little period of time. But even at that, I'm married, and it was so weird to have my ex-boyfriend with this friend now picking up her son, his stepson, at my house, and God led my spirit to disconnect from that. This was all September 2018 to the beginning of 2019. Fast forward 2022, I come back, I'm divorced. I'm knowledgeable of these things, and I communicate to my desperate. He cried. He cried at me. I moved back from where I moved back in 2022. I say, "How are you?" He starts crying. Me and him become friends again, and I'm like, "Look, I'm lonely and you're broken, so let's just hang out." We do late night car drives. We start hanging out, but it starts a little thing because he's too afraid to break up with her because she is one of those people that him and his mama. I heard her. I heard mama say it, that she's one of those chicks that'll drag you to court, take your kid from you, baby mama bitch shit. So he was he. It's a long story, but the point is him not having the backbone to be the man that he needed to be. 2023, me and him, he didn't ask me to be his girlfriend, promise ringy, and all that bull. She put hands on me because he didn't tell her the truth. He can't, put everybody got a lane. Your baby mama, your girlfriend, your mama. So when I say this is a story that I've experienced too much trauma over, that was my first fight, by the way. 2023, my first fight was her assaulting me over this man that initially said, "If you love me, you'll have sex with me." My dignity has been played on my whole life from beginning to end. This motherfucker. Anyway, so September 2006. I make sure we stay together and whatever. So at one point, I feel guilty because I'm like, oh my God, but like, I was aware of the weight of a secret. That was my first experience of knowing the burden of telling the truth or not, and what it and how it impacts another person and what it means. So, one day I just was in like my lobby area drop off section, and I felt like that pressure of like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of I can't hold this in, and I tell him that, like, his brother had invited me and my friend over while he was away, and that it eventually resulted in one of those close encounters, being that his brother, like, did some of the kissing, and it played the role that it played. It contributed to the bitch ass nigga development of him feeling like women suck or that girls can't be trusted. But I played my part as responsibly as I naturally could. That was the first experience in my whole life when I was learning that God created me to be a truth teller. It took my high school years to start realizing that my friends, people get mad at you for telling the truth because they love their secrets. I'm not wrong for being honest. But anyway, secrets keep you safe. That wrapping up that story and time of my life. This friend Maury, never forget the face, never forget the name. Fast forward 2024. I'm in this neighborhood. I'm making it through. I left the neighborhood a little while because in 2023 I was actually physically assaulted by my brother in March. Yes, I had bruises and things. And then in August, the baby mama attacked me. And I defended myself. Like, I got street cred in my neighborhood that I never asked for. I heard from people who lived in the further side of my neighborhood talking about something. Yeah, we heard the Jesus girl was fighting. I hated the fact that whatever little reputation I was already forming was getting added upon outside of my will. But whatever. So I'm being more social. I'm being more active in my neighborhood. I'm socializing with new groups of people. And when I start to see this Maury face again, I clam up. My internal girl is freaking out because I'm nervous about him recognizing me or what that means. Because now, remember, we're in this age. We're in this age where everybody's talking about this stuff. So now In 2024, I'm feeling like, what am I about to face? Because maybe this man remembers my face. Come on, God. That was a word. What am I about to face because this person remembers my face? So I never say anything. I never say anything. And I just coexist in this neighborhood where I get to have this little secret of that man is who welcomed me and my 14-year-old bestie over to his home for our first licks of alcohol. Because birds of a feather flock together, and the story I just told. So boom, we're in a social environment, and it wasn't until the next spring. So from late 2024, shoot, dang, time really freaking flew. Because 2025 was so from like, or no, because I remember it was like September 7th or 8th when I first went over to this particular section 1, right? That area. It wasn't until September 7th or 8th that I remember the dress I was wearing, everything. I went over to that area and I actually was meeting people. This is an environment where when I have to feel safer, I call them Mr. because that's what makes them feel uncomfortable. For me to emphasize how far apart we are. I don't care that I'm a grown woman. You are a geezer to me. I don't care that we're all adults. I'm little to you. In my mind. September 2024, I start hanging around with this new group. So that's his space. That's his people. That's da. So I'm silent. I'm just, I guess after hanging out in that, with those different people, nighttime, daytime, I'm learning this new social setting. And so one day I work up the nerve to use this courage that the 2020s have blessed us with to acknowledge things that maybe people don't want to. And I made sure not to do this in too much of a public way because I'm not trying to cause a scene or be that girl. I don't want to, strike up drama, but I needed some answers. I needed some accountability. I needed to feel like I'm the adult I am now, but I now still need to feel as safe as I now need to feel because I know that you were not safe to me. So it was me and just him and another friend, not a big group, but I needed at least one witness. I wanted at least one witness. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. On my 33rd birthday, I was sexually harassed by that other friend. Oh my God. Birds of a feather flock together. Oh my God. It matters. It fucking matters. Because I have the voice notes, I have the screenshots, I have the receipts for what happened to me in 2025 when my mental health was jacked up, because I ain't no stupid girl, but I am vulnerable. And I was extra hurt by how this person did what they did because from September 2024 through my mental health destruction in the winter, I'm hanging around these people on a regular basis. So when this person, his name starts with a T, real name starts with an A. When this person says, oh yeah, you cool people, oh yeah, I fuck with you, oh yeah, yeah, I got you, and this, that, there. When I'm around people and my mental health is so important to me that I pick home bases. I know how to be responsible for myself. So I don't tell everybody everything. But when I do get this idea of, hey, you know what? You're not like the rest of these people. Or, hey, you, I feel like I could laugh with you a little bit more. Or, hey, you, I feel like I could. Picking any person to feel safe with is so necessary as a female. And with my mental health, I told two of these older men how I need to tap into help if I have a panic attack. Never did in that environment, but I'm so intentional about my mental health that I still set up security for myself. I set up security for myself anyway. So this, oh wow, 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 wow. I'm sorry, that was a mind blow for me. Cause you can't you can't help yourself by seeking accountability from somebody against another person when they're the same person. I didn't know that though. In September, when I was trying to get accountability over the person who gave me liquor at 14, I did not know that the man sitting next to him was just the worst version of him. Like, how are you 49 and your friend group is comfortably acknowledging that you are a drunk toucher? Now, if you are mostly around women your age, then that's why you can get away with that, except the fact that that's not always the case. Women comfortable in settings where we're all enjoying libations and letting down our guards because there's music and food and community. Being a drunk toucher is not okay, but we're in a culture where these are men groups, and these men groups talk about bitches, and these men groups talk about hoes, and these men groups talk about how females lie and ain't shit and all that. So when you have a culture like that, I was never the girl who got PTSD from how this man touched me, and I pushed him off and he wouldn't stop, and he pushed his, the way he caused new trauma on my 33rd birthday, because I had spent hours texting him that I didn't want to hang out. I spent hours texting him, no, like the and I had an actual known about the friend group knew that I was talking to one of the bros who's a lot closer to my age, safe for me. I told him, no, if I'm dealing with this person, like, you're his bro, like you're just a fucked up person. So you trying to have solo time chilling with your bros, shorty? I'm telling him no, 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 no. For hours I was texting him, I'm good, okay. And then even when I did see him around other people, I took my leave. I tried to enjoy my birthday through my mental health issues. And then at the end of the night, I'm just like I'm in my neighborhood. All right, there's no explanation for it. I don't need to tell the twos and fro's of the thought process of why I didn't go straight home when people left this area, because it's my neighborhood. I could walk. This is my neighborhood. So boom, wasn't ready to go home. I'm walking this way towards section 1. See a couple older fellas that I'm familiar with. They talking about whatever, and I chime in. Da, 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 da. So then here comes drunk toucher. Hey, Jasmine. And that, so my, and it was after 11:30 p.m. Do you know how effed up it is to turn 33 and before the stroke of midnight your body is treated in a way that causes trauma? And I did not know in September 2024 the truth, but I didn't say anything after he did what he did to me in May of 2025, because in one of those texts, I remember waking up, and like it was within those next few days. I remember waking up and he had sent me a bunch of texts at like 2 or 4 in the morning, threatening me about how people know him and they don't know me, so let him tell it. I'm just a hoe, and he'll get his baby mamas to beat me up. And I just knew it was safer to shut up. I don't want drama. I never do. I don't need it. I just need to be safe. And I've done my best to not talk about this in my neighborhood because I'm not trying to make people hate me. But I have learned about rumors, new and old, that have made me realize how little I need to care about protecting anything except my reality, my well being, and the truth. Reality, well being, and the truth. Reality, well being, and truth. Reality, well being, and truth. Oh, God, Jesus, help me, God, help me. Help me, God. I can't go into the rest of this year holding this in because it's corroding. So I'll carry the consequence. Well, it doesn't matter now. But in September 2024, I took the opportunity, uh, just sitting at the bench in front of the building with Maury, um, who at this time in my life, I learned his name is actually something else. So I was given a nickname at 14. Makes sense, right? They're not stupid. They were adults. He knew better. So now at this time in my life where I'm meeting Maury, aka Saudi Arabia, I just don't feel like making this any messier than it needs to be. Tracksuit, string book bag wearing. But I asked in front of this other adult because I didn't know. I didn't know that they were the same. Uh, so I asked. I was like, "Hey, do you remember ever like hanging out with me like years ago when I was like younger? Do you ever like no?" Like I brought up as much detail as possible without sounding accusatory because you know how it is, right? When you confront a person about something that they don't want to admit, or when you ask a man, have you done this thing that you shouldn't have done? No, you're not gonna get. Oh, actually, now that you bring that up, let's talk. So I chose as many safe routes as possible throughout this past couple of years, but trying to secure my own safety still hasn't shown me safety. Screw it. My silence makes me suffer more. Fundamentally, my silence makes me suffer more. In fact, the phone that I have, I mean, I have screenshots, so I ain't even play. I ain't worried. I had the screenshots, but even when I lost that phone in July of 2025, I felt so it hurt my mental health to feel like I had lost a sense of advocacy for the truth. But anyway, um, whoa, that little less than a year story just kind of spun me out a little too. But I'm gonna have to end this video with the stay tuned because this is taking a lot of heart out of me. So I'm gonna start my day, shower, go for a walk, soak my son in the face. I'm gonna soak my face in the sun because to finally expose the sexualized traumas that have outright fucked me up is a freedom I require. I'm okay with telling the truth. I'm okay with it looking however it needs to look on my part. Call me out, criticize me, call me names. But I've already been dealing with that. And so I might as well do it for the truth. I'll wrap this up by saying, and there's another story, but it's from when I was 16 and it's a different character set. So different people, different timeline. I'll just make it a whole separate video. But I'll do it as needed. If this was all it took to at least pour that bucket out of my ocean, then thank you, God, for your peace that transcends understanding, your power, love, and self-control. Amen. No. Okay, muscles are starting to spasm, so I'm gonna let this go. It wasn't until this past few months. So right now it's March 2026. It wasn't until these past few months that my closest, most trusted friend, brother, I met him in 7th grade, 12 years old. He told me that there had been a rumor made up by the man that I was a teenager selling pussy. How the okay? This is what they're already circulating. How can I have any power over no knowledge, over long-lived lies from men in my environment, for me at 33 to learn? And this is just one of many in the past year. One of many. My friend telling me something about myself, and I'm like, "Oh, really? Tell me. Let me know what I did. Tell me what I said." So, like, yo, when it's true, it's true. I'll stand straight up in your face with the eye contact. I did it. I said it. I have no fear of what the accurate account is. Even if it does put my business out there, I'm gonna tell it like it actually happened. If you gonna drag my name through the mud, I'm gonna tell you. I was over here in this little patch of dirt. Okay, there was no rain. There was no gravel. I got this little patch of dirt. You trying to muddy it up? I will tell my nasty, ugly, despicable, shameful, horrid, whatever it is that you could judge it as truth. But I've had to, and my girlfriend, I had to call him that because, like, oh my God, his baby mama's been bullying me since 2023 too. Even when me and my first boyfriend got back together, kiss in the face. All our friend group over here, section 2, all us know that I was down bad on him. Like, I don't want you flirting with me or touching with me. Even before we was officially boyfriend girlfriend, I was like, nah, that's my guy. But this bitter bully dog baby mama is so threatened, jealous, insecure that from 2023 to this day, why this bitch here? She choking me. Anywho, so when I say I face a whole lot of stuff that just comes from BS people, like who you are as a person is bottom of the barrel, I don't have to go up against that anymore. But I damn sure ain't gonna go up against it with a silent mouth no more. My silence has not been safe for me, so screw it. Screw it. And I'll say this one thing that somebody said jokingly in relation to that female, a mutual friend was like, "Oh, you pussy." I was like, and this is what I say for everybody, and it's just the truth of how I live, how I function, and the God that lives. I'm not pussy. I'm peaceful. I choose peace over problems, and something that really developed in my choice to live, especially since I tried, and I know that God don't want me to die. I feel invincible, to be honest. Like last year and the things that I went through in 2025, really, like one of these guys actually dumped a half-gallon of milk on my head. Like when I say I went through way too freaking much since the night I turned 33. since the night I turned 33. That summer. Whew, I'm a titan for living still. Anyway. Um, I remember telling my girlfriend, oh yeah. So I got sidetracked on talking about the BM because like people always gonna say what they need to say, but if it looks like we're attached to the hip, if you feel like we look like boyfriend and girlfriend, actually the reference I made earlier in this video about like the neighborhood person that gets on our nerves, yeah. So I was actually thinking about this person, Barbara. We call her, that's her name, and we all can't stand her, but we all love her because she's our Barbara. She's racist and annoying, and she get like she's so mean and weird sometimes. She's like, oh, get that smoke out of my face, girl. We way over here. Go in the store. But so it got to the point where now actually she calls me and him brother and sister because one time she heard us talking about our birthdays, and she and she believed us when we said that we were twins born 5 days apart. Yeah. So actually just now, March 2026, me and him agreed that our birthday is May 23rd and a half. Okay, I'm May 20th, he's May 25th. And actually he has a whole actual real twin. Me and him twin. So so now at this point, since it's become so legitimized by Barbara, so now every single time she see one of us, she's like, how you sister? Or she'll say, hey, where's your brother been? It's true for her, so it's true everywhere. So now we're twins. And so our birthday is May 23rd and a half. Like so I said May 23rd, but he took it up a notch and he said, no, our birthday is at noon on May 23rd. So I'm just saying, like, to whoever got a problem, shut up. This is the only this person has had. Look, we ate day one, 12 years old. So he even is somebody that has attested to my fortitude because when the rumors are swirling and flying, I get to come in the back and tell him the truth. Or even when, and it hurt me a little bit last summer when there was so much, too much going on. He said to my face, he was like, yo, honestly, like based on what I get from you when I get it from you versus everything else, it's getting a little hard to like to take your word on shit, and that hurt. But I could understand how he gets the benefit of the doubt as being a person trying to still be a friend to somebody who everybody's complicating. 2025. Today we ride even harder for each other. We ride even harder for each other because of the truth. Anyway, like this is a friend that in my environment, like I get to be the girl in sweatpants. He tells our bros like, yo, why, like, stop, let her be a female we get to laugh with and chill and joke and pass time with. Can we just have a female friend? Like, this is my bro friend. I just need to clear that up. So boom, now 2026, that's my bro friend. And I told him after what I went through in 2025, like the way I have survived against my will is very evident to God making me believe that if somebody shoots me in the heart, I will live because God wills my life to continue. I feel that way. I feel very like Neo, know thyself. I feel very like Thor because he had to go into a star and the person was like, oh, if you do this, you'll die. And I very much so now carry that energy because Thor said, if I die. I very much so know that to make America whole, to be a matriarch, patriarch, I very much know that the woman I am and all that God created me to be is fundamentally far more important than the BS that I go through on this local neighborhood bullshit level. But I'm not safe in silence, so screw it. It really started to blow my mind when in this past few months, so from fall to now, when like we were just chilling, just around, and he was like, yo, you know what, I just remember people were saying how you was selling pussy back in the day. Back in the day when I was only going to the library after school with my friends, back in the day when I was going to college, back in the day when I got married and had kids, back in the day when I was being a mother and in the house minding my business for years, back in the day when after my husband moved away with the side chick and had a baby on me and I was raising kids by myself and I moved up hundreds of miles away from my peace of mind, cut off everybody, not a soul knew my address so that I can recover and lock in with God and self. When I came back and tried to, take care of my mother in 2022 and have since been declining in so many different ways, including my children no longer living with me because I'm stuck in an environment where I'm so out of control over my reality. But God grant me the serenity. I had that word tatted on me when I was, give or take, 19, because I need my peace. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, the wisdom to know the difference, and the fortitude to do something about all of that. I mean, actually, I had a video a couple weeks ago where I expanded on that, but I can't remember the verbiage now. Anyway, so I learned at 33 about a rumor that others made up because it covers the truth. So I learned at 33 that they have been saying that I was popping, selling, not popping. What? My virgin didn't have no alcohol yet ass self. And then I really didn't start exploring like trying a cigarette with a friend or like drinking at a sleepover until I was 16. That whole time in my life turning 16 was really jacked up. But anyway, that's gonna be a separate story. If I need to get off my chest, if God wants the truth out about that, that's the part two to the whole. I was a minor. I didn't know better. I was going through some shit and I had no responsibility over how vulnerable I was. So you grown man who gave me alcohol and was dancing on, this is the pop-up on all predators. This is the pop-up on predators. It makes so much sense to learn, to discover at 33 years old that a narrative was already created to cover the truth about how I actually had predatory experiences in my teen years. But my voice, the truth, my story was already being invalidated and denied and vilified. My 14-year, 15-year-old, 16, because that rumor, I don't know who started it or when it started, but in all of those years, I had a boyfriend. I was a virgin. I had a boyfriend. High school, another boyfriend. I had two boyfriends in high school. I'm minding my business. I was out the way, and like I'm not even about to go into the details of defending that. There's nothing to defend. I'll have nothing to defend out of my little. I had two bodies by 16. Like, it's not a story to tell. Fuck the innocence of the truth. To know that predators projected a palette to persecute me, and these people are still that person inside. The way they live and function, their mindset is predatory, and I don't know, and I have no way of investigating, finding out. I'm not on a witch hunt. That's a part of my silence, is that I didn't want anybody to say that I was this like me too ass girl. It's not. I'm not trying to pin nobody to the cross. There's no one perfect. There's no one good. Not a single one. Everybody's bad and wrong in some way, shape, or form. We all have fuck ups. But I kept silent to prevent more drama for myself. I kept silent because I had others. I was surviving 2025 on the wildest levels. So after my body was tucked in a corner, and that formed a new trauma for me on my 33rd birthday night, I just knew it was a little more serene to say nothing than to deal with all that I could face if I did tell the truth. I don't know what I wanted, because what I've learned from my assaults, both of them. What I learned from both of my assaults in 2023 is that the police will not do anything over something that has been done that's not bad enough. If I have bruises and they can tell me that a shove from a grown man is called aggravated harassment, okay, um, and that when I have scratches and evidence from a female attacking me, but they give a death ticket arrest, no punishments, no consequences, nope, proof, no punishment. I didn't believe that it would be worth anything, to tell the truth, if all it would get me was backlash with no benefit. To tell the truth about how this man sexually harassed me, or like, I feel weird saying the word molest as an adult, because like the cultural context has associated it with children, like an older person molests a child, or even like child on child molestation. Like I've so normalized the idea of molestation being something that children are victims of, that I don't personally identify with that victimhood. But the fact, the language, the accuracy of it is that on my 33rd birthday night, that homie, the person who told me, he said, "Oh yeah, I'm your friend. You can trust me." Ho ho ho. That person who spent months being somebody who laughed and drank his drink near me, only wanted one thing from me. And it only became more clear over time. The intentions became clearer through time. But when my no wasn't heard, and when my push off was ignored, when my body was kissed or grabbed after I pushed off and said no, stop, and I had to then, without doing too much, because I didn't want to then be called the crazy person. Oh, she's violent. She went crazy. I don't know the stories that drunk men tell when sober. So in as little force as possible, I shoved him off of me to the ground and I stormed off. And the craziest part about it is that I'd been waiting for the two men who were talking. They were less than 15 feet away from us. They were, and then like, because it didn't matter how close I was to those other two men. They were entirely oblivious to it. Why? Because they were not aware of the climate I was in. They had no social sensitivity to the sexual harassment that was happening right next to them. Months later, one of the two I saw again, and like, me and him play fight. Like, he be giving me mad props on, like, oh yeah, she know how to hold herself down, and he's like, so like I formed trust with men based on how masculine I can be around them. Damn, that sucks to say. Damn. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize this stuff. Oh my God. Over the last 2 or 3 years, like I've tried to understand my like playfulness versus my play fighting versus like how I do or don't reserve my personality around different people, because I don't want to be annoying or too much or whatever. But I feel safer in contexts with guys or men I am able to play fight with, because I feel safer when my masculinity does not threaten the men. What the fuck? I don't know how that's okay for a woman to think that way in 2026. That my femininity is safest when my masculinity is accepted. So I'll wrap this up. Yeah. So basically, I've tried to say the least so that people don't say I'm doing the most, but apparently doing nothing is already doing too much. So I'm not going to suffer in silence. Screw it. Whew. All right. The truth makes you free. God's peace passes understanding. I choose peace, not problems. But this was a load I didn't have to carry anymore. Lightening the load looks like this. All right. Now I'm going to go cleanse, cry in the shower. Healing, strength, and peace. Keep being a catalyst for restoration.